Good morning students, I Professor Rajeshwari Sharma here. Welcome back to e-learning session of GS College of Commerce, Wardha. So today we are going to see the law of demand, which is one of the components of the demand analysis. In last few lectures we have seen the meaning and the concepts of demand, the various factors affecting the demand, which is also known as the determinant of demand, and the various types of demand. Today we will see the law of demand. So let us start. See, law of demand is one of the very famous law which is given by Alfred Marshall in his famous book Principles of Economics. So what does law of demand says? See, law of demand is a law which establishes the inverse relationship between the price and the demand. This law says when the price of a particular commodity increases, so demand for that particular commodity declines in the market, and when the price of particular commodity declines in the market, so the demand for that commodity increases in the market. So it establishes the relationship between the price and demand, that too inverse relationship. Why inverse relationship? Because when one variable is increasing, another is declining, and when one variable is declining, so another is increasing. Therefore, there is inverse relationship between the price and demand. And law of demand states this relationship. Now we will see the statement. So the statement is given by Marshall. He says the amount demanded increases with a fall in price and diminishes with a rise in price. So again, Marshall says that the amount demanded increases with a fall in price, means when the price of commodity declines, so the amount that is being demanded by the consumer will increase, and when there will be increase in price, so the amount of the commodity that the person is demanding, that the consumer is demanding, will decline. So again there is inverse relationship. The another statement is given by Samuelson. He says law of demand states that people will buy more at lower prices and buy less at higher prices, ceteris paribus, or other things remaining constant. So here the important word is ceteris paribus, or other things remaining constant. So again in the statement it is said that there is inverse relationship between the price and the demand. When the price of a commodity will increase, then the demand will decline, and vice versa. But ceteris paribus, or other things remaining the same. So what are these other things that should remain the same? So these are the different determinants or the factors that we have seen, like the income of consumer, the test of consumer, the prices of the substitute products, the prices of the complementary product, population size, composition of population, etc. So law of demand says that, law of demand indicates that there is inverse relationship between the price and demand. When price will increase, demand will decrease. When price will decrease, demand will increase, and other things remaining constant. That is ceteris paribus. Means there will be no change in other things or other factors that has its impact on the demand. So now we will see the assumptions. See, in economics, any law is based on certain assumptions. What is meant by assumptions? Assumptions are certain condition which needs to prevail for law to become operational. So now we will see the assumptions of law of demand. So first assumption over here is income level should remain constant. See, this law says there will be inverse relationship between the price and demand when the income level will remain constant in the economy. Which means, see, if the income of consumer increases, so even though the price will increase, they can demand the higher quantity of commodity. But what law of demand says? Law of demand says when prices of commodity will increase, so the demand should decrease. But if the income is also increasing, so even at higher prices, even at increasing prices, the demand for consumer may increase, which will violate the law of demand. Therefore, it says that income level should remain constant for law to become operational. The next one is test of buyers should not change. See, if the test of buyers changes for a particular commodity, so even though its price decreases, still the demand of that commodity does not increase and the law of demand fails. Like if I'm going today, the prices and feature phone are comparatively lower when you compare it with the smartphones, but still the demand for smartphone is higher than the demand for feature phone. Why it is so? Because it's in trend, it's in fashion. So therefore the law of demand says the test of buyer should not change, because if the test of buyer changes, so even at the declining prices, even at the lower prices, the demand for the particular product does not increase. Therefore the test of buyer should not change, it should remain constant for law to become operational. The next one is price of substitute good should be constant. See, there we will take the example of tea and coffee. Both are priced at rupees 50. Tea also is priced at rupees 50 and coffee also priced at rupees 50. Now the price of coffee decreases to rupees 30 and price of tea remains the same. So what will happen? Those who earlier used to consume tea, as coffee is a substitute good for tea, so they will move towards the coffee. Because of which, even at the existing prices, even though the price of tea has not increased, demand for tea has declined. Therefore, the law says there should be no change in the price of substitute goods, because due to change in the price of substitute goods, the demand for the original commodity will be impacted. Therefore, law assumes no change in the prices of the substitute goods. Next one is price of complementary goods. As I have told you while explaining the types of demand, complementary goods are those goods which are jointly demanded for satisfying a particular need, for satisfying a particular want, like ink and pen. So if we consider pen as original good and ink as substitute good, so if the price of ink will increase in the market, so even though at this, the price of pen will not increase, but the demand for pen will decline in the market, because pen cannot be used without ink, and when the prices of ink is increasing in the market, so the demand for pen will decline in the market even at the same price. So therefore the law of demand assumes that there is no change in the price of complementary goods. Prices of complementary goods will remain the same during a particular period of time. The next one is no new substitute for a commodity. See, when any new substitute for a commodity enters into the market, so the buyers gets attracted towards it, and due to which the demand for the already available commodity or the existing commodity declines even at the same prices. Even though there is no change in the price of a commodity, still the demand for the commodity is declining due to the entry of new substitute in the market. So in such situation, the law of demand will not become operational. Therefore, it is based on assumption that there is no entry of substitute for the commodity in the market. The next one is price rise in future. Price rise in future should not be expected. See, if a consumer is expecting the rise in the prices of any commodity in future, so what they will do? They will buy the more amount of commodity even at the same price. Even though there is no decrease in price, they will buy the same amount of commodity. So therefore, there should not be expectation about the changes in price in future. Otherwise, the law of demand will not become operational. Therefore, law of demand is based on the assumption of no price rise in future should not be expected. The next one is population size. Population size should not change. See, if the size of population changes, so automatically the demand for the goods like the food, the clothes, etc. And the other necessary goods will increase due to increase in population, due to change in population. So during a specific period, the no change in population or population will remain constant is assumed in the law of demand. So these are the certain assumptions on which law of demand is based. Now we will understand the law of demand with the help of schedule and the demand curve. See, Demand schedule is a schedule which shows the relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. Here in this schedule, the various price levels have been shown, and as per the changes in price, how the demand is behaving is also given. See, when the price of commodity is rupees 2, then the quantity demanded was 50. When the price of commodity increases from rupees 2 to rupees 4, then the quantity demanded has declined from 50 kgs to 40 kgs. When the prices are further increasing, like it's getting 6, 8, 10, etc. So the quantity demanded is further decreasing. It's getting 30, 20, 10 respectively. So this schedule is showing the inverse relationship between the price and the demand. Like at the lower price, the demand is highest, and at the higher price, the demand is lowest. That we can see in this schedule. Now we will see the demand curve. See, when we are going to plot these points on the graph, then we are going to get the demand curve. So this is a demand curve. Here we can see that on x-axis, quantity demanded at various prices has been represented, and on y-axis the price of commodity is shown. So here we can see that when the price of commodity is rupees 10, see, the price of commodity is rupees 10, so the demand is lowest. When the price is highest, the demand is lowest. See, this point A, where we can see that when at 10 rupees price, the quantity demanded is only 10 kg at point A. Then we can see when the price declines from 10 to 8, then the quantity demanded increases from 10 to 20. At point B, we can see that when the price declines, the quantity demanded is increasing. Then when the price declines further and becomes 6, then the quantity demanded also increases. That is, it becomes 30 kgs from 20 kgs at point C. Then when the price declines further to rupees 4, then the quantity demanded increases to 40 kgs at point D. And when the price becomes 2, that is when the price is declined to 2 rupees, then the quantity demanded is highest at 50 kgs. So here in this curve, we can at different points we can see that as the prices of commodities are declining in the market, the quantity demanded of that particular commodity is increasing, and due to this inverse relationship, we are getting a demand curve DD, which is sloping downward from left to right. Why this curve is sloping downward from left to right? It's because there is inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded, due to which this demand curve is sloping downward from left to right. So when we are going to join join all these points, that is A, B, C, D, E, that we have plotted on at different prices and different level of quantity demanded. So we are going to get the demand curve DD, which is sloping downward from left to right due to the inverse relationship between the price and demand. So today we have seen the statement of law, assumptions of law, demand schedule and the demand curve. One more thing is there. If we talk about the market demand schedule and market demand curve, so when we are going to consider the demand of all the buyers in the market for a particular commodity at various price levels, so we will get the market demand schedule, and when those points will be plotted on when that points will be plotted in graph, then we are going to get the market demand curve, and market demand curve will also be same like individual demand curve, because there is inverse relationship between the price and demand. So for today we have discussed all this under the law of demand. Tomorrow we will see the exceptions of the law of demand and the reason why demand curve slopes downward. Till then, stay safe, keep studying. Thank you.